I was busking for the first time today on the streets with singing, and I used this tripod here. On top of this tripod, I did mount a selfie stick, and the selfie stick then held my phone. Now, on my phone, I had an app installed called Ultimate Guitar. I do already have a couple of lyrics in OneNote. Over the years, I accumulated them digitally in OneNote. Before, I used printouts, but the printouts require quite some time to print them out. And then once you have it printed out, it also should be correct, and then you realize there is a mistake. So what has been kind of a discovery I somewhat made today is that Ultimate Guitar, the website I used for the last couple of years for finding song lyrics, now has a somewhat useful app. Now, previously I already sometimes used the app, but it often was unusable because they required you to basically purchase something already. Now, in this app, I could, first of all, go through, so one can search for a song, and then if the song is available, and they seem to have it matched it up with a database. So now many songs also have covers. Now what one can then do is one can save these songs. Let's take a look at I Need a Dollar from Aloe Black, and then basically one can play these. And there are two functions available. The first one is just a normal automatic scroll function that can be increased or decreased in speed. And the second function that is now available is that one can also set the speed according to how fast one plays. Now, this worked somewhat reasonable at home. It was sometimes a little bit laggy, but out on the streets, it did not work. So this would be this function here, which would then say, it says start playing, and the scroll will match your tempo. Now, because this didn't work, I only played for like 10 or 15 minutes. I then scrolled by hand, which was not very useful because there is also not much text basically on here. I also did not find how one could maybe scale the text down, so this is actually not a very good solution. Maybe using a tablet would be more useful. I think the app also would work on a tablet, and then I could have the auto-scrolling function, and also it would show maybe half a page or something like this. This here is not very much. This is like maybe 10 to 15 seconds of well, depends of course on the speed, on the playback speed. And so now the next iteration is already, so maybe about the app. So I bought a subscription today for 20 euros for the next year because I wanted the scroll function, or I wanted to test this because I for years wanted to busk, but I did not know how to do this with the lyrics, and then I would need to print out all the papers and so on and so forth. And so currently I would have all my lyrics in my pocket in my phone, and it is just an app. So now in terms of the setup here, I do have a selfie mount which is mounted to a ball head, and this ball head is on top of a light stand originally, and this light stand is just standing on the ground. So there would also be a place for a counterweight, but with just the phone I think I don't need this counterweight. In terms of this year, this already looks not that professional compared to this year, so this is something that would be quite useful actually. In terms of simplicity, just having one device that ideally is battery powered, maybe no amplifier or something, reduces the risk of theft, but it also reduces just the overhead, the thinking overhead, but also the planning and the preparation, and then going home and then unplugging everything, not unplugging, but unpacking everything. But so far, well, it is a little bit, of course it would be maybe nicer if I had an amplifier, but also for the beginning, I am not that sure about how well I am actually singing, so maybe the amplifier is actually a good thing that I don't have it. Then I do have a kind of rucksack for my Ibanez guitar. I do also have other guitars. These are these guitars, so this is actually the best guitar I have. It's a Fender, but unfortunately I only have a well, suitcase for it, and this suitcase is just not something I can have on the bike. So if I don't have it on the bike or cannot carry it on the bike, then it takes a lot longer, because then I would have to use public transport, and I cannot just ride on the bike into the city. And so I put the stand in here. So the stand has this arm, and this arm can be opened up, and then one can do it like this. Now, fully collapsed, it's a little bit larger than the other one. So what I did with the other one, at least, is I put it into this pocket, and then I did have a rubber band on top, which I will show shortly. So there is this rubber band here, and then I can put this on top, and then it's somewhat secure. Then I can get this out. I also do have a spare set of strings in here. I do then put my tuner in here, and then I have my guitar, and then I use the guitar case, at least as of today. I mean, I did it for the first time today. It's not like I do have experience in this. A couple of years ago, I played on a street festival alone for the first time. It's not that anybody listened, but I did it. So now this is my guitar, which does not sound that great, but well, it does the job. And mostly I do have a case for it, and a case that I can carry. I thought already about maybe getting rid of this. It's also quite big in my apartment, and maybe purchasing another rucksack kind of case for it. But then the problem is, if I actually transport the guitar, then it might get damaged. And because the other guitar is more valuable than this one, I mean, this also was not exactly cheap, but it's already kind of old, so it already has lots of bumps, since I have been playing this guitar for now. 28 minus 6 would be 22 years. It's actually quite old, this guitar already. 22 years. It's like this guitar is almost as old as me. Kind of ridiculous. And so that's the whole package. I then can carry this on my bike, drive it to the city, and then unpack this. And well, let's see how that goes for the next couple of times.